Welcome to Stone Steps in a Quiet Courtyard, a tranquil slice of life story designed to gently guide you towards a peaceful night's sleep. If you find serenity in these quiet moments and wish for more stories like this, please give this video a like and subscribe to our channel. We truly appreciate your support. Before we step into the calming world of the courtyard, we will begin with a gentle breathing exercise to help you unwind and prepare for a restful journey. If you prefer to go directly to the story, you can find chapter timestamps conveniently located in the video description below. Now, allow yourself to settle into your most comfortable position. Let your body become heavy and supported by your bed, feeling the gentle embrace of your mattress. Adjust your blankets or pillows until you are perfectly cozy, creating a peaceful sanctuary just for you. This is your time to release the day's worries and welcome stillness and tranquility into your evening. Imagine the quiet courtyard, bathed in soft light, waiting to offer you a space of calm. Let's take a deep, soothing breath together. Inhale slowly through your nose, feeling the air fill your lungs gently and effortlessly. Hold for a moment and then exhale slowly and smoothly through your mouth, like a soft sigh of contentment. With each breath, imagine you are in the courtyard, breathing in the fresh, clean air. Feel any tension melting away with each exhale, replaced by a sense of ease and relaxation. Visualize the cool, smooth stones under your fingertips, the gentle sway of potted plants, and the quiet stillness enveloping you. If your mind begins to wander, simply acknowledge the thoughts and gently guide your attention back to your breath or the sound of my voice. There is nothing you need to do now except listen and allow the story to carry you into a state of peaceful rest. Feel the quiet rhythm of the courtyard, the gentle cadence of everyday life slowing down and inviting you into its embrace. Let go of any lingering concerns and allow yourself to be transported to this peaceful space, where the simple act of sweeping stone steps becomes a pathway to tranquility. Now, let us begin our journey into the courtyard of quietude, where the quiet moments of everyday life await to guide you to a serene and restful sleep. Chapter 1. The Coolness of Morning Stone. The first hint of dawn painted the eastern sky with a soft pearlescent gray, barely nudging away the deep indigo of night. Inside her studio apartment overlooking the courtyard, Maya stirred awake. The quiet of the morning was profound, a stillness that felt almost tangible. She stretched languidly, feeling the comforting weight of her quilt before gently pushing it aside. The air in the room was cool and still, carrying the faintest whisper of overnight rain from the open window. Slipping out of bed, Maya padded softly across the wooden floor towards the window. Barefoot, she felt the smooth, cool wood beneath her toes, grounding and pleasant. Looking down into the courtyard, she saw the stone steps leading from the ground level up to the studio entrances, faintly illuminated in the pre-dawn light. They were dusted with a dewy sheen, reflecting the nascent light like scattered muted pearls. A profound sense of peace settled over her, a feeling she often found in these quiet early hours before the day truly began. She dressed in comfortable loose clothing, choosing soft cotton trousers and a simple linen top in muted earthy tones. Downstairs in the small kitchenette of her studio, she prepared a simple cup of herbal tea, the delicate aroma of chamomile and lavender filling the air. The gentle clinking of the kettle and the soft rustle of the tea bag were the only sounds in the apartment, each one distinct and somehow magnified by the surrounding quiet. Holding the warm mug in her hands, she returned to the window, gazing out at the courtyard once more. With her tea in hand, Maya quietly made her way downstairs and out into the courtyard. The air outside was noticeably cooler, carrying a refreshing dampness. The stone steps were indeed cool beneath her bare feet, just as she had imagined, a welcome contrast to the warmth of her tea. She set her mug down carefully on a small stone table nearby and retrieved her broom from its place leaning against the wall beside her studio door. It was a simple, well-worn broom with a wooden handle and natural bristles, familiar and comfortable in her hands. The courtyard was utterly still. The potted plants that lined the edges of the space stood motionless, their leaves still wet with dew. The small garden patch in the center, meticulously tended by her neighbor Liam, was a tapestry of greens and soft earthy browns, the scent of damp soil and herbs subtly present in the air. Even the city sounds seemed muted at this early hour, reduced to a distant, almost imperceptible hum. It was as if the world itself was holding its breath, savoring the quiet transition from night to day. Maya began to sweep. The bristles of the broom whispered softly against the stone steps, a gentle rhythmic sound that broke the silence without disturbing the peace. Swish, 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 the sound repeated, a comforting cadence. She started at the top of the steps, slowly working her way down, each stroke deliberate and unhurried. As she swept, she noticed the small details of the stone, the subtle variations in color, the fine texture, the tiny crevices and cracks that had accumulated over time. Her gaze drifted to the moss growing in the spaces between the stones, a miniature world of vibrant green against the gray. Some patches were velvety and plush, others wiry and delicate, each one a unique ecosystem in miniature. She paused for a moment, bending down to examine a particularly lush patch, marveling at the intricate patterns and the soft, almost spongy texture. It felt cool and damp to the touch, a tiny piece of nature thriving in the heart of the city. Resuming her sweeping, Maya continued down the steps, the rhythmic sound of the broom and the quiet stillness of the morning creating a meditative space around her. The coolness of the stone beneath her feet, the warmth of the tea still held loosely in her hand, the gentle whisper of the broom, these simple sensory experiences filled her awareness, grounding her in the present moment and washing away any lingering traces of sleepiness. The gentle unfolding of daybreak, mirrored in the quiet unfolding of her morning routine, felt like a peaceful promise of the day to come. Chapter 2: Sunlight and Dust Motes. By mid-morning, the character of the courtyard had subtly shifted. The soft gray of dawn had given way to a gentle, golden sunlight that streamed over the rooftops and into the enclosed space. The air had warmed slightly, losing its early morning coolness, and a gentle breeze had begun to stir, causing the leaves of the potted plants to rustle softly. The morning sun now felt different underfoot, less cool and more pleasantly tepid. As she began to sweep, the rhythmic whisper of the broom seemed to stir up even more dust motes, causing them to swirl and shimmer in the sunlight. It was like sweeping light itself, a dance of dust and sunbeams. Pausing to rest for a moment, Maya leaned on her broom and observed the play of light and shadow in the courtyard. The sunlight filtered through the leaves of the potted maple tree, casting dappled patterns on the stone steps and the brick walls. The shadows were soft and shifting, constantly changing with the gentle movement of the leaves in the breeze. It was a constantly evolving artwork, painted by nature itself within the confines of the courtyard walls. A tiny movement caught her eye. Near the base of one of the potted lavender bushes, a ladybug was slowly making its way across a stone step. Its bright red shell, dotted with black spots, gleamed in the sunlight, a tiny jewel against the muted tones of the stone. Maya watched it patiently, Fascinated by its slow, deliberate progress, it crawled along, antenna twitching, exploring its miniature world with quiet determination. After a few moments, the ladybug reached the edge of the step and took flight, its delicate wings unfolding and carrying it upwards towards the sunlit leaves of the maple tree. Maya watched it go, a small smile touching her lips. These tiny moments of everyday wonder, these glimpses of unexpected beauty, were often the most rewarding parts of her day. Small reminders of the vibrant life that existed even in the quietest of corners. Resuming her sweeping, Maya continued her rhythmic task, the gentle breeze now carrying the subtle fragrance of lavender from the potted bushes. The air felt warmer on her skin, the sun a comforting presence. She felt a sense of peaceful connection to the courtyard, a quiet companionship with the stone, the plants, the sunlight, and the gentle breeze. The act of sweeping was no longer just a chore. It was a way of being present in the moment, of noticing the subtle shifts in light and shadow, the small movements of life, the quiet beauty of the everyday. As she swept the last step, Maya paused again, looking back up at the steps she had just cleaned. The stone looked freshly swept and subtly brighter in the sunlight. The courtyard felt refreshed, lighter, bathed in the golden light of mid-morning. Setting her broom aside, Maya retrieved her mug of now cooled tea and sat on the stone bench, basking in the warmth of the sun and the quiet stillness of the courtyard, content in the simple beauty of the moment. Chapter 3. The Rhythm of the Broom in the Afternoon Calm. The afternoon settled over the courtyard, bringing with it a deeper sense of stillness and quietude. The sun, now higher in the sky, cast the courtyard in dappled shade, creating a cool and tranquil atmosphere. The gentle breeze had softened further, barely rustling the leaves of the plants, and the distant city sounds seemed to recede as if the world itself was taking a breath, slowing down to match the languid pace of the afternoon. Maya, having spent the earlier part of the day working in her studio, felt drawn back to the courtyard, seeking the peace she found in its quiet embrace. She carried with her a book of poetry, intending to spend a little time reading in the afternoon calm. Stepping outside, she immediately felt the shift in atmosphere. The air was cooler now, shaded and still, carrying a subtle earthy fragrance from the damp soil of the garden patch. Retrieving her broom almost instinctively, Maya began to sweep once more. Even though the steps were already clean from her morning sweeping, the rhythmic motion of the broom still held a calming appeal. It was less about the task itself now, and more about the gentle, repetitive rhythm, the soothing sound of the bristles against the stone, the meditative quality of the simple action. The swish, swish, swish of the broom filled the quiet afternoon air, a soft, almost hypnotic sound. Maya found herself falling into a rhythm, her movements becoming fluid and effortless, her mind gently focusing on the sensory experience of sweeping, the feel of the broom handle in her hands, the gentle resistance of the bristles against the stone, the quiet sound, the cool shade of the courtyard. It was a form of moving meditation, a way to quiet her thoughts and simply be present in the moment. She noticed a slight shift in the scent of the air. The herbs in the garden, warmed by the midday sun, seemed to be releasing their fragrance more strongly now. The scent of rosemary and thyme mingled with the earthy aroma of damp soil, creating a subtly aromatic atmosphere. It was a comforting, grounding scent, adding another layer to the sensory richness of the courtyard. Pausing in her sweeping, Maya rested her broom against the wall and sat down on the stone bench, opening her book of poetry. The pages felt smooth and cool beneath her fingertips, the scent of old paper faintly present. She read a few lines, letting the words flow over her, their rhythms and imagery resonating with the quiet stillness of the afternoon. But soon her gaze drifted away from the page, drawn back to the courtyard around her. The interplay of light and shadow was particularly beautiful in the afternoon. The shaded areas were cool and deep, offering a sense of respite from the brighter parts of the courtyard still touched by sunlight. The leaves of the maple tree rustled almost imperceptibly in the gentle breeze, creating a soft, whispering sound, like nature sharing secrets in hushed tones. Everything felt still and peaceful, imbued with a sense of quiet contemplation. Closing her book, Maya simply sat in silence for a while, allowing herself to be enveloped by the calm of the afternoon courtyard. The rhythmic sounds of her earlier sweeping seemed to linger in the air, a faint echo of movement and peaceful activity. She felt a deep sense of contentment in this simple moment, a quiet appreciation for the beauty and tranquility of her everyday surroundings. The afternoon calm had settled over her, seeping into her bones, leaving her feeling refreshed and at peace, ready to return to her creative work with a renewed sense of quiet energy. Chapter 4. Rain-washed steps and the scent of Petrichor. The late afternoon sky had grown heavy with clouds, casting a soft, diffuse light over the courtyard. The air felt thick with humidity carrying the promise of rain. A gentle stillness had fallen, a hush that preceded the anticipated downpour. The leaves of the plants hung motionless, and even the distant city sounds seemed muted, as if holding their breath in anticipation. The courtyard waited, poised and quiet, for the rain to arrive. Soon enough, the first fat raindrops began to fall, splattering softly onto the stone steps and the leaves of the potted plants. The sound was gentle at first, a delicate patter, but quickly intensified as the rain grew steadier. The courtyard transformed into a symphony of soft sounds, the rhythmic drumming of raindrops on stone, the gentle rustling of leaves as they were washed clean, the quiet gurgling of rainwater running into the drains. Maya, watching from her studio window, felt a sense of cozy contentment as the rain began to fall. She loved the way rain transformed the courtyard, washing away the dust and bringing a refreshed vibrancy to the colors of the stone and plants. The air outside smelled clean and fresh, carrying the distinctive earthy scent of petrichor, the fragrance of rain on dry earth. Once the rain had eased to a gentle shower, Maya decided to venture out into the courtyard. She pulled on a light raincoat and stepped outside, breathing in the rain-washed air. The stone steps were glistening wet, their colors deepened and enriched by the rain. The courtyard felt refreshed and revitalized, cleansed and renewed by the downpour. Retrieving her broom, Maya began to sweep once more, this time sweeping away the rainwater and fallen leaves. The sound of the broom on the wet stone was different now, a softer, swishing sound, almost like a whisper. The water glistened and shimmered as she swept it away, revealing the clean, rain-washed stone beneath. The air was cool and damp on her skin, the scent of petrichor strong and invigorating. As she swept, she noticed how the rain had brought out even more detail in the moss patterns between the stones. The moss was now vibrant green and glistening with raindrops, each tiny droplet catching the light like a miniature jewel. The colors of the stone itself seemed richer and more varied when wet, revealing subtle shades and textures that were less apparent when dry. The rain continued to fall gently, a soft, steady shower that created a soothing background soundscape. The courtyard felt enclosed and protected, a quiet haven shielded from the outside world by the falling rain. Maya found a peaceful rhythm in her sweeping, the gentle swish of the broom, the soft patter of rain, the fresh, clean scent of the air, all creating a deeply calming and sensory-rich experience. After sweeping the steps clean of rainwater and fallen leaves, Maya paused to admire the rain-washed courtyard. Everything looked fresh and vibrant, gleaming with moisture. The air felt clean and revitalized, and the scent of Petrichor filled her senses. The gentle rain continued to fall, creating a peaceful and soothing atmosphere. She leaned her broom against the wall and sat on the stone bench, listening to the rain and breathing in the fresh, clean air, feeling a deep sense of tranquility wash over her, as if the rain itself was cleansing not just the courtyard, but her mind as well. Chapter 5. Moonlight and the Stillness of Nightstones. As evening descended, the rain clouds gradually dispersed, revealing patches of clear sky. The moon, nearly full, emerged from behind the clouds, casting a soft silvery light over the courtyard. The air had cooled considerably, becoming crisp and still, carrying the faint scent of night-blooming jasmine from a nearby garden, its delicate fragrance enhanced by the rain-washed air. The city sounds had quieted once more, replaced by the gentle hush of evening. Maya, preparing to wind down for the night, stepped out into the courtyard for a final moment of quietude before heading inside. The moonlight bathed the stone steps in a pale, ethereal glow, transforming them into a pathway of shimmering silver. The courtyard felt utterly still and peaceful, imbued with a sense of nocturnal tranquility. The air was cool and refreshing on her skin, carrying the delicate scent of jasmine and damp earth. Even in the soft moonlight, Maya could see a few stray leaves that had fallen onto the steps during the earlier rain. Almost without thinking, she retrieved her broom from its place against the wall and began to sweep once more. The sound of the broom on the stone was even softer now in the stillness of the night, a gentle whisper in the quiet courtyard. Swish, swish, swish. The sound repeated, a soothing lullaby in the moonlight. The stone steps felt cool and smooth under her broom, now dry again after the rain. The moonlight highlighted the subtle textures and patterns of the stone, creating a different visual experience from the daylight hours. Everything seemed softened and muted in the silvery light, edges blurred, shadows lengthened, creating a dreamlike atmosphere. She swept slowly and deliberately, her movements unhurried, her mind quiet and still. The rhythmic sound of the broom, the cool night air, the soft moonlight, the delicate scent of jasmine all combined to create a deeply calming and peaceful experience. It was as if the courtyard itself was breathing slowly and deeply, inviting her to join in its nocturnal rhythm. As she finished sweeping the last step, Maya paused, leaning on her broom and gazing up at the moonlit courtyard. The stone steps shimmered in the pale light. The potted plants stood silhouetted against the walls. The garden patch was a dark, mysterious space in the center. The courtyard felt like a secret garden at night, a hidden sanctuary of peace and quietude. Setting her broom aside, Maya sat down on the stone bench, allowing herself to be fully immersed in the stillness of the night. The moonlight bathed her in its soft glow, casting long, gentle shadows around her. The air was utterly still, save for the occasional whisper of a night breeze. She closed her eyes for a moment, breathing in the cool night air and listening to the profound silence of the courtyard. Opening her eyes again, she felt a deep sense of peace and contentment settle over her. The simple routine of sweeping the stone steps, repeated throughout the day in different lights and weather conditions, had brought her a sense of grounded calm, a connection to the rhythms of the courtyard, and a quiet appreciation for the beauty of the everyday. The courtyard, now bathed in moonlight and steeped in nocturnal stillness, felt like a haven, a peaceful sanctuary where she could find solace and quiet joy, even in the heart of the city. With a gentle sigh of contentment, Maya rose from the bench, ready to return to her studio and drift into a peaceful, restful sleep, carrying the quiet tranquility of the courtyard with her into her dreams.